So we are definitely in the grip of a second wave of this century's pandemic. And some of you may be thinking, okay, so what does this mean for my trip to Germany? And if that's what you're thinking, then, well, unfortunately, that's the kind of thing that happens if you book a trip during a global pandemic. As has been the case for a long time now, if you enter Germany having recently spent time in a high-risk area, you will have to either produce a valid negative COVID-19 test result or go into quarantine for 14 days and inform the local health office of your arrival. The magic number, by the way, is 50. An area is considered high risk if in the last 7 days it has recorded 50 or more new infections per 100,000 head of population. There is a full and updated list on the Robert Koch Institute website. Okay, stop right there, stop. So I'm going to have to interrupt myself here because some more details have appeared on the website of the German Foreign Ministry just as I was recording the video. I knew this would happen. So, in addition to the fact that there are only a few countries in the world from which entry to Germany is possible at all except for the most urgent of cases, starting from November the 8th, possibly, a new regulation is going to come into effect. From that date, if you arrive from a high-risk area, you only need to spend 10 days in quarantine. But if you have a negative test result, you can reduce the time in quarantine to 5 days. Which means that even if you can prove you don't have the virus, you still have to self-isolate for nearly a week, starting November the 8th. All clear? Right, let's get back to the video. The same principle applies inside Germany as well. A city or a district recording more than 50 new cases per 100,000 people in 7 days is high risk. But before that, there's another number, 35, which is kind of, let's call it medium risk. Now, one of the advantages of a federal system of the type that Germany has is that it can better respond to local conditions, making it far more flexible. But a disadvantage is that the 16 individual states can have very different approaches. During the first wave, this led to a very confusing patchwork of different regulations in different areas. And so, a few days ago, the state minister-presidents met with the Chancellor to agree on a common approach. Unfortunately, the only thing the Chancellor can do is to shout at them all until they come to an agreement. And they did finally agree on at least some of the more important points. What should happen in a district that reaches 35 and what should happen in a district that reaches 50. And then they all logged off Zoom and decided to go and do their own thing anyhow. Some states want to ban entry to people from high-risk areas unless they have tested negative, even if they're coming from a high-risk area inside Germany. That is one of the things that the states couldn't agree on. It got very controversial. The courts have got involved and they don't like the idea one bit, so that's currently not happening. Then there's the hospitality ban. It's not actually a ban, but in some states, hotels can't take guests from high-risk areas unless they have a valid negative test result. That test cannot be more than 48 hours old. So, Rubos, you may be asking, please tell us, is that 48 hours after the swab was taken or 48 hours after you received the test result? And I will answer that that depends on the state. Okay, so beyond that, what are the regulations? Well, everywhere in Germany you have to wear a mask on public transport and in stores, you have to keep social distance as much as possible, and you have to leave your contact details at any place where you eat or drink in. Once the infection rate per 100,000 reaches 35, restrictions will be tightened. Now, the details will probably vary from state to state, but you can expect the following. Mandatory masks in all public areas where lots of people are likely to gather, including shopping streets, markets, and communal areas of apartment blocks, and restrictions on the size of social gatherings. And at 50, expect basically lockdown. In short, I would advise against any unnecessary journey. If you've already booked, then prepare to have to cancel, and no, you probably are not entitled to a full refund. So, sorry everybody, but we are in the middle of a major public health crisis. So far, Germany has managed to ride the storm, and we're hoping that we can ride it out to the end. There is some good news, however. While infection rates have recently shot up, the number of fatalities hasn't done so yet, at least not by much. There are a few reasons cited for this. One is that doctors are getting better at treating the disease, but this is possible because the hospitals are not yet overwhelmed, and we want to make sure that things stay that way. So yeah, this whole thing sucks, but please, stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully next year will be a lot better.